The rocky road from last year's January 25th uprising to Egypt's first post-Mubarak presidential election was full of challenges and disappointment. Case in point, the presidential election's result, when Egyptians found themselves facing what was dubbed as the worst-case scenario, choosing between Mubarak's last Prime Minister Ahmed Shafiq and the Muslim Brotherhood's candidate Mohammed Morsi. The third option for many was to either boycott or invalidate their votes. Hazem Abdelazim, an IT professional and outspoken critic of how the transitional period is being managed, co-founded an awareness campaign aiming to promote white votes.
Actually, we started before the first round of the presidential elections, and there were a group of Egyptians, so I am one of them, that were really convinced that after all what happened in the last year and a half, we cannot accept any elections under the SCAF rule.
Having anticipated the outcome, he felt that it was time for his campaign to up their game through spoiled ballots, as opposed to abstaining from participating altogether.
I am with that decision because if you look at the white votes percentage in the last elections, it's usually less than 1%. So if you have a chance to increase by 6%, 7% white votes or invalid votes, that's a very big media and political message. But if we talk about the abstention votes or abstention percentage, will be from 54 to 60, for example. It will be diluted within the high abstention percentage. It will not be really recognized. That's the logic of the thing.
The aim of the campaign is to increase the percentage of spoiled votes, so their message would be crystal clear.
But the relative increase between the last three referendum and elections, talking about 1%, less than 1% white or invalid votes, and suddenly jump to 6 or 7% in the second round, then there is something I can show.
On the other hand, political activist Nazli Hussein is among a group publicly promoting an outright boycott. She refuses to be part of the voter turnout statistics, which indirectly lends legitimacy to the process.
To me, I think the entire process is illegitimate. I'm not going to take part in it in any way. I'm not going to add to the participation rate. I'm not going to take part. I'm not going to stand in their queue. I'm not going to put my ballot in their box and then wait for them to give me results of the number of null votes.
But not everyone chose the same path. Other activists, including the April 6 youth movement, have announced their endorsement of Morsi to bring down Shafiq, who they deem a remnant of the old regime. Nazli, however, sees no difference between the two candidates.
I believe voting for the lesser of two evils is still voting for an evil, and I believe that SCAF and the Muslim Brotherhood are just two sides of the same coin, and they're both two different sides of the counter-revolution.
This refusal to vote either way is only part of a bigger plan both groups will implement on election day.
We're going to have stands by the polling stations in the morning, all the way until 2 o'clock in the afternoon. At 2 o'clock, we're going to take to the squares of Egypt and different governments. As for the people who are going to nullify their votes, they're asked to wear a t-shirt that says Batil, which is null, or it says illegitimate, so that they're not pictured as a high turnout.
Only days before the runoff, Egyptians were hit with yet another blow, as the Minister of Justice issued a decree giving authority to army officers to conduct judicial arrest of civilians, creating what now looks like a cosmetic repeal of emergency law, followed by Thursday's Supreme Court decision to dissolve the parliament in what appears to be a soft military coup underway, taking Egyptians back to the Mubarak era. In Cairo, Farah Safin for the Egypt Monitor.